Okay, welcome. Thank you for participating in our UBC research project for healing in nature, therapeutic effects of sound frequency and forced immersion. And I just wanted to capture a little bit about why you wanted to come for a healing session and participate in our study. So can you tell me a bit about your history and the accident history, why you have chronic pain?
In 1991, I was in a motorcycle accident where someone pulled a U-turn in front of me and tagged my ankle, crushed my ankle bones to a powder, almost a powder form. And this doctors in emergency said I had a 50-50 chance of keeping my my ankle.
Your whole foot, right?
Yeah, my foot and ankle. They thought that I was fairly healthy at the time and they would give it a chance to heal. And so we went through the process. My whole leg went black and it had trauma blisters all over it. I was on crutches probably for about 5 years. Was bedridden for a while at the beginning.
Were there a lot of operations to help restore your
They
body?
did a few operations to try to do corrective surgery. Eventually they did a fusion, a triple orthodesis it's called, on the ankle, to the best they could. It still left it quite deformed. It was also one of the worst ankle injuries they have probably ever seen.
At what point did they recommend that you amputate your foot?
I went in 2 times over the years they had ankle replacements, and both times they said they couldn't do it because there was too much damage and they had nowhere to mount the ankle brace, the ankle replacement. And they recommended amputation. At that time I thought I would wait to see if something better came along. A few years later they came up with a new one that I was pretty excited about, because apparently the old ones would only last about 5 years. So it wasn't a permanent thing. The new one was supposed to last much longer. So I went back and I saw the top ankle surgeons in Vancouver, and they had 3 surgeons come out and interview me and told me that it was best that I amputated again, and that the new ankle replacement wouldn't work for my ankle. So I decided to walk away from that and wait longer to see if something new would still come up over time, better technology or whatever the case. I think in 2017 I went back to the surgeon, to a new surgeon that I've never seen, and they at that time were the best ankle surgeons around, and they said they couldn't do an ankle replacement, but they could do 3 more surgeries over a 3-year period, but could not guarantee any of them would be successful. And at that point I'd given up. Because I had already been down for a total of 7 years at this point, not walking, because I had re-injured the ankle and was on crutches for another 2 years after that. So I just haven't gone any further than that with the surgeons, and I've done many types of physio and many types of therapy. I've done PRP therapy, I've done cold therapy, laser therapy, the chiropractors, stem cells, PRP, sheesh, so many.
And for 7 years, you must have been in a lot of pain, trying to recover.
Oh, it was excruciating.
And what
I would say
did you
most
do
of
to
the
help?
time I was level 8 to 10 in pain
Yeah.
throughout the body. Just from the injury alone created a chain reaction throughout the whole body, from the foot to the neck to the head. You know, like hip problems, knee problems, chronic back pain, chronic neck pain, headaches, and so on.
And were you taking anything for the pain?
I wasn't taking any prescription painkillers, no.
So tell me about your interest in more holistic health and alternatives to traditional medical system.
I think at one point I got kidney stones, and the doctor told me that I need to be on another pill for the rest of my life, but after all the experience with medications in the past, I was terrified to be on pills. So I turned that down, and I started doing a lot of research on what kidney stones were and how to cause them and why did I get it. And a lot had to do with my diet and lifestyle. So I started just changing my diet and lifestyle, and the inflammation went down a bit, and kidney stones started to dissipate, and then and during the kidney stone issues I started getting gout, and then the gout was really bad, and it was just like constant things were happening. So I needed to understand my body, and why my body was doing this and someone else's wasn't. And I realized that over the years through medications and lifestyle that this wasn't a healthy way to go, and I needed to change. And if I could change, maybe I could change some of the issues I had.
Tell me a bit about the medication. Like, were there negative side effects to the medications that you had to be on?
Well, I was on medications for about 5 years straight, and I was heavily medicated, and I was pretty numb. They're powerful meds, and you're numbed out. The doctor decided after 5 years that he wanted to take me off the meds. He felt that I might have been addicted to them, so he basically cut me off cold turkey, and I went through about 2 years of withdrawals. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I was very moody and emotional. People had a hard time being around people. Sleeping issues. The pain came back. Inflammation came back. It was just a battle to survive at that point, because I felt like I didn't want to take the meds anymore, so I didn't seek more meds from anybody else. I felt like it was doing a lot of damage to my internals. T3s are very hard on the digestive system. The anti-inflammatories were, very powerful anti-inflammatories. One that I was taking, the doctor told me they took it off the market because it's burning holes in people's hearts. Hearing these things after I've taken them is not good. This is damaging my life. So I had to learn alternative ways.
You seem like very resilient, like considering all that you've gone through with your accidents and operations. Oh, and we haven't even talked about like the damage to your body from operations. Do you want to speak to the nerve damage?
So there was a lot of nerve damage from the accident, probably in the foot and ankle, but more so after after surgeries. The last surgery I had was the last big surgery I had was a fusion. It was a triple arthrodesis fusion, it's called, and they cut bone from the hip and they put it in your ankle, but they nicked one of the main nerves in my hip area, which affected the right side of my body from my hip down to my knee. And it's like I lost all my sensation there. It's a very strange feeling. I've gotten used to it over the years.
So what I find interesting is that most people in your situation would probably still be on medication and not choosing the natural kind of alternative or lifestyle improvements, and they'd be kind of stuck on the numbing out and the limitation of what they can do with their life. But what helps you move forward and be so resilient?
I've always had a lot of drive in my life. I believe it's mind over matter. So I would sit there and I would have like level 10 pain in my ankle, and I'd visualize the pain dissipating and dispersing throughout the body and diffusing a little bit, as much as it could. And that was a mind thing.
So like meditation practice?
Yeah, and that helped quite a bit.
And tell me about what you currently do for your pain management instead of medication.
I have I lay down a lot, and I raise my feet up, and I take the pressure off my back and my neck, and try and keep my foot above my heart to keep the swelling down. I do breath work. I do a lot of meditation, focused meditation on the injuries.
Because you believe in that your body can heal still.
I believe 100% that our bodies are designed to heal. Some things take longer than others. Some, like some severe injuries could take years. But I believe we're amazingly designed. Like we can heal. I just believe that, and I'll always believe that.
Well, I was really excited that you would take the time to be part of the trial sessions and see what we could explore and what might shift using sound frequency and nature emergent. So let's talk a bit about the 3 sessions that you've completed so far. So if we go back to the first session, had you ever explored sound healing?
I do sound healing. I do sound therapy actually on a regular basis. I listen to sound therapy before bed almost every night.
What do you listen to?
Just like a YouTube frequency healing.
Okay.
Solfeggio sounds.
Yeah. I'll get the link and then I can look into the details. And so that helps you just calm down.
I feel like it brings me back into harmony. And I like to feel harmony before bed. I also do grounding. I haven't done as much grounding as I should be, where I sit out in a chair barefoot in the grass for 20 minutes and I meditate. Um, I haven't done much of that because I was grieving this last year and I was very distracted. So I didn't focus on that as much.
What are some of the benefits of meditating outdoors in nature and being barefoot? Like, what is it? What have you noticed that's more beneficial than just sitting inside your home?
I just feel like it brings my body back into harmony and balance, and focus. I think when we're not doing these things, we could be restless or feel imbalanced or something is off. But when you go to ground and you do sound therapy, I think that reverses that. It brings it back to a center.
Beautiful. Well, that's exactly what I've been passionate about and noticing with people. So I'm glad we got to do some of the sessions outdoors. The first session we did it in the studio.
We did, yeah.
We were laying down. What do you remember about the first session, and how is it different than listening to an audio track at home?
Well, listening to audio track is not a pure natural sound. So,
like I think we also had a conversation about recorded tracks, or how it's presented to you could be
for sure
adulterated.
Yeah,
and not
like
be as
I mean,
precision.
that would be quality of sound.
Yeah.
Quality of sound through your speakers or through your headphones can be slightly off from the actual sound.
Yeah.
Having a pure natural sound, a pure sound in the room, as in not listening through a speaker, but listening to it through the singing bowl or whatever instrument is being played, will provide more range of frequency than a speaker or headphones would.
True. Yeah, because there's things we can't hear.
Yeah, I am not a sound expert, but this is what I do believe is true.
Yeah. So you get the full spectrum.
You get the full spectrum of sound. Whereas in a speaker, you're relying on what the speaker's spectrum can give you, or your headphone spectrum can give you.
So how do you feel in a live sound healing experience? Like, is it something that helps calm you quickly, or does it take a while? Like, do you notice there's a transition of like getting into the relaxed state?
I think it's much quicker.
Yeah.
Definitely much quicker in getting in a relaxed state. Yeah.
And how about the environment? Like, because you had, our second session was outdoors. So we have the studio environment where you have a blanket and it's low light, and sometimes people are given an eye mask. Or the second session we tried going outside in nature. And I remember we had the wind chime and we had the tree and it was sunny and it was
So the
warm.
second session definitely had more of an impact to physically, mentally, and emotionally than the first and third session.
And that was the only session we did outside.
That was the only session outside.
what can you remember about that day?
I had reduced inflammation in my ankle after the session.
Immediately?
I would think it was immediate.
Okay.
I would say
And that would result in less pain. Is it stiffness, or how do you explain the...
inflammation is, you can have inflammation and pain are two separate things, I would think. But the inflammation in my ankle seemed to have gone down maybe 15%.
Okay.
And 15% is a lot. Really. You know. Did I feel a difference? I did.
Okay.
And it dissipated after 3 days. Back to where it was.
And how about with these sessions, did you notice sleep, pain, mood?
Sleeping, I didn't notice much of a difference. My mood, yes,
Okay.
definitely.
From the first session?
Yeah, through all 3 sessions, definitely improved mood.
And you generally sleep well. You don't have problems with sleeping. Because sleep is like the most common benefit from sound healing. Like, people notice that they're calmer and they sleep better. But our sessions were also during the day.
I sleep fairly good. I wouldn't say I sleep really good.
Okay. And how about pain? Was there any improvement with your pain?
I would say the first session, there was probably less than 5%
Okay.
reduction in pain. I would say in the second session, I had between 5 and 8% reduction in pain. And in the third session, less than 5%.
Okay.
And dissipated over 3 days.
Yeah. So the greatest impact for everything was the outdoor sound healing session.
Yeah.
Which also happened to be September 9th. So energetically, there was a lot going on as well. I remember the second session, you making a comment about the wind chimes and how that memory came up, and it was like a really good feeling because it reminded you of your mom. Because you had bought your mom a wind chime, and that was special.
I did. So, I bought my mom a wind chime many years ago, and she had passed last year, and I brought that wind chime home and I hooked it up, and every time I hear the wind go, the wind chime goes, and it reminds me of her. And I felt like you had a wind chime out there. It was very similar to the one I have, and I felt like my mom was there beside me during that session. And it was a wonderful experience.
Mm-hmm.
Felt she was communicating with me.
Was there some insight? I can't remember if it was you. Where you had like a conversation with her? Or she?
Well, it felt like she was just there with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a great feeling.
I love when those little moments happen. Synchronicities.
Yeah.
Nice. And before and after each session, for the 3 sessions you had, and you're the only one who's been very consistent because you really like using this tool, but we have the Aura Reader. Tell me about your experience with the Biopulsar, because you actually have used this tool before we even met, so you were familiar with it.
It reads energy.
Reflexology points on your hand.
Yeah, and over the years, I've sort of, I guess I can feel the energies in my body a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And I could feel like when something's off, especially from my neck up.
So you're more aware from the neck up. A lot goes on.
Yeah,
in the
there's,
head.
yeah.
Okay.
And I know when it's really off. And you doing the test, I could see it.
Yeah.
I could visually see what I'm feeling.
Wow.
Yeah.
And before the session, we would do the reading to see where you were arriving, how you were arriving. And then immediately following, I think usually the sessions would be an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, we would do another scan. And I'll include it in the report because there's very obvious shifts, and the color energy would shift. And we could see the energy moving or clearing, especially more stagnant, gray, darker, low vibration. We would see that clear. So it was really interesting to track.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about focusing more on sound healing and nature in your daily practice, or kind of, if you don't continue with the research project, would you prioritize doing your meditation outside, or is there anything that you've kind of connected to during the last 3 weeks?
During those sessions, I felt a lot of lifting in the head. Because I didn't mention, I had 4 concussions over the years. And in those concussions, if there's a heaviness, and during the sound bath, I felt that lifting.
Is it like brain fog, like
It's
How do we explain it?
somewhat like brain fog.
yeah, like a denseness?
Yeah, and sometimes you can't get your thoughts and your words together.
Yeah, the sound healing definitely helps with neural connection
Yeah.
and the left and right brain communicating.
Yeah, and I felt that improve probably like 15%.
Okay.
And again, after 3 days, it started to dissipate again.
And that happened after each session.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the second session. I did offer some Reiki at the end. And then the third session, you requested it. and you noticed some sensations in your leg.
I felt, I don't feel any energy in the leg. I haven't for a long time. I did a Reiki session years ago, and the girl said she couldn't feel any energy, and she was trying to bring energy back into that leg.
Mm-hmm.
And I did feel some energy. And so when I requested it, I wanted to see if you would bring back some energy. And yes, I did feel a little bit of tingling.
Yeah.
And it did dissipate after 3 days again.
Because I remember in the session you're like, yeah, it's really weird. You were feeling something. Can you describe the feeling in your leg that usually has no sensation? Was it like pins and needles, or like when your foot's asleep and it's coming back, or?
Maybe feels like a bruised nerve, but very subtle. I don't know really how to explain that, because it's pins and needles is like if I put pressure on it for a long time.
Yeah. But there was something.
I don't know if you ever had a bruised nerve. Maybe it would feel something like that.
Okay. Because you were laying down, you weren't moving, no one was touching you, but you started feeling sensation between your right hip and your knee, which typically has no sensation.
Sensation, not, I would say energy.
Energy, okay.
Not, I felt like there was something going on there. Sensation, I could still touch it and I wouldn't feel, but I could feel that there was an energy, maybe an energy flow there.
Oh, okay.
This is different than touching.
Yeah. And any other sensations or awareness from the knee to the ankle on that session?
From the knee to the ankle, I think I can feel, but as soon as I get to the ankle, it's like it's numb again.
So no major improvements in what you would want as a healing outcome with your ankle?
Nothing permanent.
Yeah.
Nothing major, but there was improvement.
And a great awareness that outdoor sessions really did help boost all of the positive outcomes from the sound healing.
Oh, yeah, I agree to that.
So merging sound frequency, stacking it with nature therapy, and being outdoors and doing that.
There was a
meditation.
positive response to that, for sure.
Yeah. And you're already quite connected to nature. You love photographing and traveling and camping and hiking and being outdoors. So there's that. And even we connected how you've changed all your clothing to natural fibers.
I have, yeah.
Yeah. So like even working with the frequency of clothing and fibers around us and being more in tune with that really helps.
Yeah.
Well, any closing statements, anything that's coming to mind that you want to share before we wrap this up?
I'm grateful for this opportunity, and I thank you for taking me on as a case study. I hope this will benefit some people that really could use it. My injuries were pretty severe. You took on a pretty extreme case. And I wish the best for everybody that goes through it.
Yeah, well, thank you for participating, and your commitment showed up every week, and it was really great to explore what is possible, right? And how powerful the mind and body is.
Absolutely.
And you and I both believe there's something to our body's ability to heal naturally, and I think we both agree as well that the current system isn't working as well for people as it could be. Because we've gotten away from nature. We've gotten away from the holistic practice.
Yeah, there's a lot of holistic medicines out there that are quite powerful. You know, just do your research. People need to do their research, and it's all out there.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.